the gas-related stocks will continue to be in focus today. But let's now put the spotlight on Olectra Greentech. That one reported its numbers and it was a rather mixed set that came in from the company. Remember, revenue shot up by nearly 26% on a year-on-year basis, but margins have contracted. They've come in at 13.6% versus 15.9% that the company had reported same time last year. But to understand what the outlook is going forward, we now have Mr. Mahesh Babu Subramanian, Managing Director at Olectra Greentech, now joining us. Mr. Subramanian, thank you so much for joining us. And you've guided for 2,000 e-buses deliveries in FY26, given the strong order book and tender pipeline. Are you on track to meet that guidance, or could you exceed that guidance? If you can take us through your delivery guidance for the next few quarters.
So we are working with the various state governments. As you know, on the EV, the ecosystem development decides how many buses we deploy in the market. If you look at last year, we were the highest in deliveries of e-buses to the tune of about 1,000 plus buses. And this year, in the first half, we are in the top two. We are looking at completing in the top two by end of the year as well. So the 2,000 target was based on the market size of about 6,500 vehicles plus. We hope that if the market could able to adapt, then we'll be able to deliver. But looking at what this quarter we have done, we are looking at about adding another 1,000 plus vehicles in the 2 quarters.
Right, Mrs. Subramanian, with the CESL opening bids for 10,900 e-buses, how strategically positioned is Olectra, and are you bidding across all the 5 city clusters, and what share of this tender are you targeting? When are you expecting to hear on this?
So firstly, the CESL tender is a welcome for the industry, because this 10,900 tender includes PM E-Drive scheme, which includes incentives. So we are actively evaluating. Since the tender is going to be closed by 14th, I can only tell you that we are actively evaluating, and once the tender is done, we will be able to give more details on it.
Understood. So that's as far as tendering is concerned. But Mr. Subramanian, let's also talk about battery prices and its impact on margins for the company going forward. You did tell us that battery prices are definitely looking down. How much margin leverage can this unlock for you over the next couple of quarters, and could consequently margins expand in Q3 and Q4?
If you look at it, we have recently type approved Blade Battery from BYD in our products. The Blade Battery gives better efficiency and also on the cost advantage. So we are working on that. So the last quarter and the coming quarters, we are trying to productionize the new Blade technology. And we are working with various state governments as well to deploy more. The margins, as I said earlier, depends on the product mix. The city buses, the coach, the private order, the order from STUs, tender to tender varies. We don't see any margin drop off from where we are today. We are only looking at the improvement in margin from what we have already achieved.
Right, Mr. Subramanian, with the more players entering the e-bus space, how are you balancing the competitive pricing with the bottom line discipline that you have been emphasizing on?
As you rightly said, the e-bus market, there are very active 5 to 6 players in the market, and many more are coming. It is welcome. Actually, competition will actually bring the best out of the industry. It brings in innovation. We are very, what I would say, very disciplined in terms of financials. So we are very clear which tender to take at what margins, and similarly work on cost control of the products. So I don't think competition would put pressure on margins, but at the same time, we'll have to look at what the industry margins are. And then we'll have to work around the best around the industry margins. So if industry margins falls, if the capacity is higher and the market is smaller, I can understand. The market itself is so big that right now everybody is working to deliver to meet the capacity. So at least in another 2 years, we don't see a big pressure in margins due to the volume. We are only looking at synergizing the cost economics by the volume, and hence we will get the better margins going forward.
Understood. So that's as far as competition and its impact on margins is concerned. But Mr. Subramaniam, you've also forayed into electric tippers. How large could this segment be for you going forward? How much revenue could this segment generate for you? And does it then mark the beginning of a broader EV commercial vehicle play for you? Is this segment expected to be a growth driver going forward?
Yeah, if you look at the EV commercial vehicle, the 55-ton truck, the tippers and very specialized equipments are the one which will get easily adapted because it runs in the controlled, what I would say, ecosystem. And hence there are viability. We have put a pilot, it's successfully running at multiple places. So the CV industry, if you look at it, even the PME drive has given a subsidy for trucks, and we are working with the government to enable it to make it happen. And once the guidelines have already come, so we'll work on it. And trucks are just adapting like what bus happened in 5 years back. I think it's a huge potential. I strongly believe that the fuel consumption by the trucks and the CV industry is high, and hence adapting EV will be a national benefit in terms of fuel consumption, pollution, as well as economics and Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we are looking forward to participate in the CV industry in the future.
Okay, so that's the word coming in on what the outlook is going forward as far as the electric vehicle segment is concerned. But Mr. Subramaniam, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here today. On that note, we need to slip into a very short break. But on the other side, we'll put the spotlight on the sugar sector. All of these sugar stocks are buzzing in trade. Why is that? And what's the outlook going forward? We'll discuss all that and more once we are back.